Yeah, brilliant, you doctor. And yep, we're live-ish, hopefully.
Yes.
We'll see if anybody turns up. Okie dokie. Yeah, tonight's show, we're going to be talking about medication. And more to the point, the side effects of medication and the side effects and the medication they give you to sort the side effects of the medication that you're on. Evening, Hanky.
Hi, Hanky.
Hi, Steve.
Okay.
Fucking hell, Steve, if you've been waiting all day for this, mate, you need to get out more.
No shit.
Medication. And there's somebody else who obviously Steve will know about medication. You know, Hanky, it's this thing of you get one medication and they give you something else to counteract that medication. And then they tell you, oh, by the way, this medication's going to fuck your stomach lining up. So you've got to take this medication to counteract that. But don't take that for too long because it damages your stomach lining the other way. So you need to take this medication.
Yeah.
So, but we are talking about medication and talking about some of the more serious medications.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Lee.
How you doing?
Hey guys. Slowly. Well, when I started, just before they amputated my leg, I was on metformin, and that was it. Now, I'm on a whole raft of stuff.
Yeah.
It turns out that taking insulin injections, especially the ones I take, causes cataracts in your eyes. So I've got cataracts in the eyes. I'm still waiting for my right one to be called to my right one to be done. But yeah, I've had my left eye done, waiting for my right eye to be done. And then I've been put on blood pressure medication, which I've never had bad blood pressure. Now they put me on cholesterol tablets as well. Never had bad cholesterol in my life.
Yeah, come on, all of those.
Never had bad cholesterol in my life. I had it pretty checked. So now I'm on blood pressure, cholesterol, blood pressure, and now all the thing with my leg. It's now I'm on blood thinners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to get some sensation running through to the bottom of my foot. Plus antibiotics, which I've been taking now for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And I'm still taking them now. I've not almost come to the end of them, but I'm still taking 2 lots of antibiotics, plus the ones they pumped into me when I was in hospital. Yeah. And I don't know. I think these doctors just dish them out willy-nilly. And what annoyed me, annoyed Carol the most, is that I messed about for over 6 months, going to the doctors every day to get my leg dressed because of the water that was coming out my leg.
Yeah.
And then I managed to get an appointment with the vascular surgeon, who because they got a cancellation, so they called me up on the day. The last time I went back to the doctors, said, "Do you want to come?" And I said yes. So we went up there. He admitted me to hospital, and they stopped the water in my leg coming out within 4 days.
Well, why the hell could they not have done that sooner?
Well, why couldn't the doctor refer me to the hospital in the first place? He said, "You're going through 6 months." Basically, like wearing a nappy around my leg, because when it filled up with water, it was terrible. You're talking, it was a couple of kilos dressings. Took him off my leg. It was a couple of kilos in weight.
Damn.
Drop him into the bag. So I get seen to by the vascular surgeon, and he's the one who amputated my leg. He's a good bloke. And he says, "You ain't going home." He admitted me to hospital on the Thursday. By Monday when he came in, it had all dried up. So I still got dressings on my leg, but it's called Acrocel. It's a very thin dressing, but it creates a barrier to stop it. But it stopped all the water coming out my leg. And then again, it's talking water tablets. I'm on water tablets. Now I'm taking 3 a day. And he sat there and said to me, he's got his little entourage with him, his nurses and that with him. And he's there jumping up and down on the spot like a madman. He said, I can't understand why GPs say to you, right, you need 80 milligrams of water tablets a day to start shifting this excess water out your body. So why do they tell you to take 2 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon? If you need 80 milligram at the start, then you should take all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And when one of his nurses questioned him about it, and he turned around and said, well, my wife is a renal specialist. And she always said, you know, if you're going to take water tablets, take them all at once, because if you need the jolt in the morning, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Taking two, and then 1 in the afternoon, he said, don't do nothing. You need it to start straight away. You take the 3 straight away. So you know, it's no good doctors sitting, GPs sitting there looking in books.
No, I'd agree with
think-
that because I think the trouble is, as soon as you see a specialist at the hospital, be they a surgeon or a doctor, more gets done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GPs, general practitioners, are just, unless you've got a common cold or the flu, 99% of the time they're fucking useless.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, remember when I had my issue with my GP? He literally had me on narcolepsy medication because my blood sugar was dropping. Instead of testing me for blood sugar problems, he literally handed me a full prescription for narcolepsy pills. And I was on those for, 2-3 months?
Yeah, but had you been at that point? Have they sent you to a sleep clinic to find out if you had narcolepsy?
Oh no, not at all. They
Right,
had me
this
do
is
they had me do
because the
an
American
at-home sleep
culture.
study. They sent me home with a machine and had to do an overnight at-home sleep study, which they said wasn't recorded properly, or something about the machine didn't work right, or so they had to send me to an actual sleep study after that, which is good, but I was already on the medication. I'm literally falling asleep driving to and from work, so they hand me medical amphetamines and say, "Here you go, that'll help."
Oh yeah. Well, it'll wake you up. Yeah.
I'm not going to say short term it didn't work. For a couple months, it did. It kept me awake, but then your body gets used to it, like anything else.
Yeah.
And your body starts being like, okay, I'm going to use this how it should be used, and then you're exhausted and falling asleep again because that's not the issue.
Well, the other issue with it is if you don't medically need that medication, any medication is poison. I don't give a fuck what it is. Any medication is a poison. And it comes down to your liver and kidneys to sort that out.
Yeah.
What medication you take, even if it's paracetamol, the like cheap ones that you get from the corner shop,
Oh yeah.
they're a poison. Your body does not like having that in its system, so it's trying to push them out all the time. So
Well,
to
people
give
always
you
ask me when I get migraines why I won't take those type of medications even over the counter, because I don't want to be one of those people that takes 14 of these pills over a certain period of time every day to try to cover the little bit of discomfort or pain that I'm having. I'm not pumping that into my body.
I was going to say, paracetamol, the most you're supposed to take is 1,000 milligrams at a time.
Yeah.
And you're only supposed to take it 4 times a day.
Yeah.
And you got to think, the ones that I have are 500 milligram per capsule.
Yeah.
And I know
That's
people that take, people that take 4 of those at a time.
That's for you, Tyler.
Tyler, if you're taking 4 of those at a time, stop.
Oh, I don't. I know people that do. I refuse. I will let most take 2.
Yeah, 2 is the maximum. If you even taking 3 can damage your kidneys.
Yeah.
You overdose on paracetamol, and it's virtually a death sentence to you.
It is. Yeah.
Lisa, I need to go back and have them do another sleep study and find out if I do have apnea, because it's got to be something else. There's no way that my sleep schedule is the way it is. And
without being Dr. Chandler again.
Hold on. Where's my foil? I get tinfoil. Hold on.
Put your tinfoil hat on for this. I think personally, if you've got an issue with falling asleep like you are, it's more likely to be down to your diabetes.
Yeah.
See, my problem isn't falling asleep.
That's
It's
more
staying asleep.
likely.
I wake up. I will wake up at the same time every night, at least twice a night, and I'll be up for at least 45 minutes every night, both times.
Well, if you're tired all the while, then Matt's right. Diabetes does cause that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I am. I am always exhausted.
Two things cause diabetes.
Thank you,
and
Hanky.
and the other one that will cause it is anemia.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the American diet isn't fortified in the right way.
You need more iron in your diet.
There's that. And think about the fact I have a blood mutation on top of it. So I already
Yeah.
have issues with my blood already, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Mm.
the way American cattle is raised, you won't get that anywhere near enough iron out of meat.
Oh no.
You need to be eating like green vegetables and stuff like that. Greens.
Green vegetables, meat.
You know, I saw Mike's comment earlier in our private chat about the carnivore diet thing. I'm really considering that.
My other recommendation, and it's not a medical one, is start drinking Guinness.
Yeah.
It won't cure you, but it makes
But
you
it'll give
feel
you more iron.
Yeah, it's like last week I was definitely ill in bed for 3 days, couldn't move. I get a message from Matt. Just drink a quarter bottle of whiskey, you'll be fine.
Well, at one time, Tyler, in the NHS, pregnant women used to be given Guinness in the hospital.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That or Mackeson's, mate.
Yeah, Mackerson Stout, yeah.
Yeah,
Mackeson's
yeah, the
Stout,
little bottles of Mackerson Stout.
Yeah.
Huh.
Half-pint
The-
bottles of Mackerson's.
The issue with all the medications is that all of us take. I know Craig has to take a few as well. The
Mhm.
issue with medication is the side effects that you get from those medications. Luckily, most of the medications, the side effects are not too bad. The side effects that are interesting are the one that both Bill and I are on.
Oh, that's more than interesting. That's fucking terrifying.
When you go to see your consultant psychiatrist and you walk in and they say, you know, because I know him well, and you walk in and he sits you down and says, right, we're going to put you on this medication. Yeah, okay. Word of advice. When you get the medication, when you get the box, the label, you know, you get a little fold out a piece of paper with side. Just don't read it.
Yeah, throw it the fuck away.
He says, for fuck's sake, he says, don't read it. I read it.
You dickhead.
Now, hold on, Bill. Here's the question: did he read all of it, or did he get like you did, like a quarter through it and go, "Okay, I'm done"?
I read the first three, all of which contained the words "may cause death."
All three.
All three. Those were the good ones.
The
After
first,
that, they got gradually worse.
yeah, the first 5 side effects are may cause death. Potentially lethal seizure.
Yep.
Not you might start having suffering with epileptic seizures. No, you will have lethal seizure. One.
Right, one.
Thank you, Lee.
True.
Well, it's like for sake of conversation, I just Googled the acid reflux medication I've been on for 10, 15 years, which is supposed to be like, I think 6 months to a year max. I mean, you already have, it's an acid reflux medication, but it can cause vomiting and abdominal pain and everything else. So all the stabbing pain I've had from my gallbladder being removed, 13, 14 years ago, and the medication to help with that issue is causing more pain and issues.
Yeah.
But
I've
also,
had multiple doctors tell me how you phantom pains.
with all these problems that people get with taking these medicines, is what about the more homeopathic remedies? Because there are stuff out there that you can take.
And see,
I would-
Steve, here's
I
where
would
that gets
try.
interesting, though. because I'm not saying they don't work, because they do. They do it depending how things are done properly and, you know, holistic ways like that. But as far as the U.S. is concerned, those are not pre-approved medical things to do. You know what I mean? So
They're
you
not
can go
here.
to holistic medicine for 10 years, but you go to a regular doctor 10 years later for that to say, I'm solving problems. Well, you didn't do anything for 10 years. Of course, you're having problems.
There you go, Tyler. We've sorted you out a new doctor.
Yeah.
God, no. I can already see the rubber gloves being snapped. I'm good.
And there'll be pink
Hey,
marigolds.
I was going to say it's the marigolds
Yeah,
with the grips on the ends,
yeah.
extra
It's
fruit.
when he says to you, bend over, and then hangs his trousers next to yours on the bed.
It's the one that goes up to the shoulders, like the vets use.
no, the
It's
scary
like when
part
you
is when he forgets to say cough. Then you know you got somebody that's a little too happy to do the procedure.
Well, now you got the problem now we have worldwide about antibiotics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's yeah. But, I mean,
all
that's
the
been a
different.
problem for 20 years, hasn't it?
Well,
Mhm.
I was reading some research that they have been looking into a form of antibiotics cloned from the blood of the Komodo dragon. Because even though the Komodo dragon doesn't have a poisonous or venomous bite, the bite of a Komodo dragon, the bacteria that's in the mouth of a Komodo dragon is that lethal. You get bitten, that's it, you're done.
Oh yeah.
But
Mm.
when they bite and they bite each other, they don't die.
No.
And they said, like, it's somewhat like, a couple of thousand times more, venomous bite in the bacteria. So you get bitten by that's it, you're done. And yet, when they fight for territory and stuff like that, and they bite each other, they don't die. So
Yeah.
now, because they've been looking at their blood to see why is that a bite off them would pretty much kill anybody or any animal. Yet for them, it's nothing. They just struggle to.
I was going to say some of the bacteria in the Komodo dragon is necrotizing, isn't it? It just kills.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Flesh is just gone.
Yeah, but when
There
they
you go.
bite each other and they bite each other, nothing. They just walk away, heels up and done.
Yeah.
There you go, Tyler. We'll sign you up for the tests.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? The way testing works over here, I could go be in the experimental studies and make a lot of money. I might, be yellow for 2-3 years, but man, money's money.
From what your mum said, you were an experimental study.
I was gonna say, Tyler, if you're yellow for 2 or 3 years, don't worry. We'll just change your name to Homer.
Yeah, you could be one of the Simpsons. You'd be well away.
Homer White. And for everybody in chat, we'll just explain that. Yesterday, the guys called for one of our weekly meetings and everything. And I was on for about 3 minutes because my neighbor's garage caught fire and had about 30-foot flames coming from it. So I had to evacuate the house with the kids and the dogs.
I'm telling you, it was a meth lab.
Oh, you know what, though, Matt? I've been looking at the damage to the garage that actually went up. Like I said, it was a cinder block building, so the walls are all right. And the way the flames were coming out, that makes more sense now why it was going straight up instead of out the sides.
Yeah.
But there was so much. There had to be some fuel to that fire because it was not just burning. It was going.
Hello, Dave.
Evening, David.
Hello, Steve.
Now here we have a man who's just come in who knows all about medication and side effects.
And side effects of the side effects medication.
Of the side effects, yeah. If anybody knows about medications and side effects, there's your mum.
Yep.
But poor old Dave's been through it over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Guarantee that one of us is going to get abuse in a minute.
Yeah,
Well, he's already started. You see the first comment he made.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that's quite normal for him to start.
Oh, I didn't say it wasn't tame. I never said it wasn't tame.
You know something's going to get said in a minute. Yeah, oh, only me this week.
I told you it would be you.
No, it's good to see you again, though, Dave. Man, how you feeling?
Dave remembers the time when he could buy laudanum at the chemist.
They were
remembers-
selling it.
He remembers when Coca-Cola had cocaine in it.
Mm.
Oh, just wait. Something happened in the last 2 days. They're about to start losing a lot of sales for Coca-Cola in the U.S. So you've heard about all of the deportations and immigration
Sorry to hear
problems
that, Dave.
and all that stuff Trump's been doing, right?
Yeah, not good, mate.
Coca-Cola decided to take a bunch of their Hispanic employees, call them into a very large meeting in one of their big conference rooms, and say, "Hey, we've got to talk to you. You know, it's something important." Then they brought the ICE officers in and had them arrest every employee and deport them.
What?
What?
Coca-Cola is about to get screwed. There are so many people that are never going to buy their products again.
You know, I said it. I think it was in our private chat about how Trump and things are going in America.
Let's
And
talk
it
about
is-
no, it's not even Trump anymore. It's President Musk. That's
Yeah,
the
well,
issue.
And some of the schemes that are going on at the minute are getting very much like things in 1937 in Poland.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say. No, Dave, you're only a young sprog, aren't you? Yeah.
You know, taking the piss or not, it's nice to not me be the one, you know, hey, you're the young asshole out of the group.
I'll give it time. Give it time.
Mm.
You just put yourself in that position, mate.
It happens
Yeah,
every
we
week, Matt. I'm not saying it's not going to happen anyway. I'm going to throw myself into the fire, but it's going to happen anyway.
But I mean, you know, we're talking about side effects. I mean, I've got the big one from my head meds. My liver's fucked.
Yep.
Yeah.
I need a liver transplant, but because of other problems, I can't have one.
And I wouldn't be surprised if mine comes back with it starting to, because I've had the blood test last week. So and I've got to go and get the results tomorrow. So I'm waiting for it.
Well, and see, that's the scary part about, you know, going and actually getting the test done and trying to figure out what's going on is what results are you really going to get back?
Shit,
No.
they're going to be.
You
I
know.
know what they're going to be,
Yeah.
Tyler. I
Yeah,
know what
Matt.
the results are.
Yeah, Matt, what you worry about is you go see the doctor tomorrow. The doctor then says, right, we need some more blood tests. You get the
Right,
next
okay.
lot of blood tests. And by the end of day, you get a phone call. Right, you need to be in hospital now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the
'Cause that's
day,
what I got. That's what I got when I found out about my liver.
I've always said I knew about what taking this medication. This is the other thing about the medication that we're on. 100% alcohol.
Take care, Steve.
I wish, mate, I haven't had a drink in fucking ages.
Yeah, say that, Steve.
The medication that I take, because of the side effects of it, it damages your liver. The chances of me ever stopping taking it are absolutely 100% zero.
They
I
don't
can't
exist.
stop taking it. I can't.
Mm.
Because without that medication, I couldn't function. This is going to drop me into shit as well as I do. Shut up, Dave. I've just left you open the jokes about it. Only. But I couldn't function.
Yeah, same for me.
It's like the Ramipril that I take for my blood pressure. What's the main side
Mm.
effect? Causing liver failure.
You see, I take that as well.
Yeah, I take Ramipril
You know,
as well.
I take Ramipril, amlopidine, statins as well, and then
I was,
obviously all the
I was
other.
taking off Ramipril and put on Lisinopril.
Yeah.
But,
I'm on all the other painkillers and all that shit that I have to
Yeah,
take.
but
Well,
I'm on,
it's like with the
I'm on an
painkillers.
overdose for I'm on an overdose for lisinopril.
Well, we know I'm on an overdose technically for carbamazepine. For me.
Well, yeah. Because what is your dose at now, Matt? I mean, if you don't want to tell, don't. You know
oh
what I mean?
no, I don't mind. No, I'm an 1800 milligram.
I only asked. I know it was very high.
The legal limit is 1200. They can't go any higher legally.
So I have a question then. If that's your legal limit, and I do understand you need a higher dosage for your condition and everything, how is your doctor able to prescribe a higher limit than the legal dose?
Because it's a consultant psychiatrist.
Okay, gotcha.
I know the risks. I know the risks of taking it. I know exactly what the risks are. Yep, that's me. That's me, Dave. I'm a junkie.
But you also know the risks if you don't take it.
Well,
exactly.
I wouldn't.
That's correct. No, Craig, you're dead on. That's the issue, though, is you do have the side effects, but if you don't take the medication at all, what's gonna be your issue?
I'll put it this way. For me, I've been on carbamazepine 22 years. I'll take the last 22 years over the 10 before that.
I mean,
even with my liver backing in.
I 100% agree with you, Bill. Like Dave just said there about morphine, a lot of people don't maybe know, but Dave's taken morphine for a lot of years for his pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of which Dave gets a lot of fucking skeletal pain and a lot of a lot of pain.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not good. It's not good for you, morphine.
What makes me laugh is if you watch American TV and you see the adverts come on, and it's all for drugs, and you'll get some drug come on there and they'll say, this will help you do this, and at the end you'll run through your the side effects, and you're thinking, shit, what I gotta take that for?
No, Steve, the best part is they'll have advertising for these drugs, and they'll go through, they'll do the side effects, they'll do what it treats, everything else. But at the very end, they'll go, just so you know, if you're allergic to this medication that we're advertising for, don't take it.
Yeah.
How am I going to know if I'm allergic to that medication just off the bat without having a reaction, then having worse issues?
And that's the issue, Dave, isn't it? That's just like we've talked before, certainly Stevie Elson, Craig and Bill have, and I have with Dave about. The trouble is, Dave has had to take the morphine, and it isn't by choice. He's had to take the morphine.
Yeah. And Matt, you said before though, the problem with stuff like morphine, it's not a light prescription.
And
for you to have to take it so long, your body is starting to not have the same reaction to it.
And nowadays, Dave, it's not touching that pain anymore.
Right. And I'm sure for Dave, it's extremely scary and frustrating to be like, well, I don't obviously want to take something else. I don't want to keep.
I was going to say
adding to it.
The only alternative to morphine, though, is ketamine.
Yeah,
and you don't particularly want to be on ketamine.
No.
Well, he's dopey enough as it is.
Well, yeah.
Well, at the moment, I've got a bottle of morphine in the house at the moment, which they gave me because of the pain in my leg. First, I was taking cocodamol, and then he decided to put me on amitriptyline to take one a night before I went to bed. And then I was still getting the pain, so then they gave me a bottle of Oromorph.
Yeah.
I mean, Oromorph isn't... It's not... I've had Oromorph in the past. It's not too bad.
I mean...
Not so much a horse, more of an ass.
I was going to say, the
wrong side of the horse, Dave.
Sort of fortunate thing is morphine is a relatively clean drug.
Comparatively,
yeah. But
it's relatively clean. It's where the American pharmaceutical industry have messed about with morphine and other opiates to produce.
Well, see,
some of
the on though. That's the problem. Because think about fentanyl. Fentanyl started as a medical-based painkiller.
Yeah.
And if it was done properly, it did. It worked.
Well, fentanyl was used as
why do I now have? But But Steve, why do I have a tattoo on my hand? Because my best friend overdosed from fucking using that shit on the streets.
Yeah.
It was mixed with God knows what.
Yeah.
You know, it's a horrific fucking situation, no matter how you look at it.
But
Oh, yeah, it is.
the problem with fentanyl is it is not just stronger than morphine, it's hard to dose.
It's hard to dose. It's hard to get back off of after you've gotten your pain under control. It's
And the
Because-
main problem you had in the States was the fact that fentanyl was being handed out to like the oxycodone.
I was just going to say that, just like the oxycodone, the oxycodone, and everything.
You've got a
When I was
headache.
growing up.
You've got a headache, have you, Mr. Flint? Oh, all right. Here's a box of oxycodone. You know, they were handing it out, they were dishing it out like sweets. It was just
Well, you know what? I'm going to say it this way. I was not by any means a saint in my teenage years. Did we take things prescription-wise we never should have? Yes, we did. But it was easier to come by than it ever should have.
oh
I-
yeah,
like,
there's
I-
no doubt.
I never
FDA
really tell certain stories, you know, because there's certain things you just don't talk about.
Mhm.
Basically, you've heard of it was the ADHD medication. It was basically speed.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was called. But
Oh,
Well, we
I
had
know
Ritalin.
it's right there in my head.
We had Ritalin.
yeah, basically Ritalin.
It was, but it was a little bit off Ritalin. It didn't really calm you down. It just, if you didn't have ADHD, it was like cocaine. It sped you up very, very fast. We were taking that stuff in high school to get through
Yeah,
exams.
get in the back. Come on, good lad. Go on, in the back. Come on.
I mean,
Lisa,
you've got
the
people
answer to
literally
that one
handing out
is-
pills to get through testing times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lisa, the answer to that thing on Coca-Cola is the immigration board. The immigration board are now withdrawing people's residency
Well, there's
who,
Sorry,
who
go ahead.
are not born in the United States.
Coca-Cola's statement for doing what they did was they outed themselves first for having illegal workers and had the government take care of it, so they were doing the right thing by saying it themselves instead of hiding the fact they had these employees.
Yeah.
Basically, they're basically the
But
kissing
in the
Trump's
same
arse.
light, you're not looking any better.
They're kissing Trump's arse because they know they're going to get hit with levies and stuff like that.
Exactly. And being one of the biggest soda manufacturers in the entire U.S.
Yeah.
In the world.
Well, yeah, in the world, I'll give you that. Yeah, it's all about saving face and everything else. And when it wasn't an issue and they could pay these guys half what they paid everybody else, get the same amount of work out of them, it was fine. But now these regulations came in, they're going to out everybody.
The trouble with Coca-Cola Soda is because it's a worldwide brand and it's a worldwide company. If you actually looked at actually how much of their soft drinks are actually made in the US, it's very tiny. It's all made from outside the US, so they import it into the US for people to have. And because he's slapping tariffs on everything, they're worried then that their stuff's going
Yes
to be
and
outpriced.
no, though, because you got to think though, the ingredient list they have for U.S. products and the ingredient list they have for the exact same product for outside the U.S. is not the same ingredient list.
Oh no.
No,
So you got to think if they're going to produce anything outside the U.S. for U.S. consumption, you've got to find somewhere that is legally going to let you use those chemicals still.
they can't. Well, they won't because virtually no
Exactly.
country,
That's why
virtually no
legal
country
here is
allows
already-
you sweet.
Well, they'll probably
you
get
all-
around it. The simple fact is they say, well, we're only making this for the US market. We're not making it for the European or British market or world market. And they'll say, oh, okay, no problem, carry on. Because it all comes down to money. I mean, you look at Starbucks. You look at Starbucks, people moan about how much tax they used to pay to everybody. And then you work it out. You look at their actual head office. Starbucks head office, worldwide head office is that coffee making capital of the world, Finland. That's their main office, head office in the worldwide head office is in Finland. Why? Because they get tax breaks. And it was the
You look at
same-
what happened with P&O
Yeah, it was the same when I about,
when they got rid of all of their stuff.
Starbucks doesn't pay enough corporation tax. So what did they say to him? Well, we'll tell you what. Then we won't. Well, you want us to pay tax? Then we'll just leave because they sell that much coffee all around the world. If they're pulled out of Britain, they don't care. And that
Mhm.
means you can have about 12 or 13,000 employees smacked back onto the dole, and we don't care. So it's all right. Then we'll come to an arrangement. That's all it
Yeah.
comes down to is money.
Mhm.
Same with Amazon. Amazon could quite up the up sticks, move all their warehouses from this country and stick them somewhere else, say France or something like that. The way the postal services work now, you can still get your stuff in 24 hours, even if it came from France or from Germany or anywhere in Europe, which will give them the tax breaks that they want. So this is why they're allowed to get away with it. They negotiate with HMRC, say, right, we'll pay you this much, but do bear in mind that we employ about 30,000 workers, and if we pull out, all of them are going to be on the dole, and they're all going to be claiming universal credit. And it'll be okay, then no problem. We'll come to an arrangement.
Well, it's like over
Right.
here, they've had how many strikes by Amazon employees because of wages and benefits and everything else. You know, you got one of the biggest delivery companies in the world that is being shut down by these giant distribution company, facilities because they can't pay people enough to do their jobs.
Yeah, but that's how they get to be such a big company. That's business.
Exactly. I've known people that work for Amazon, and they said as far as the job itself goes, that is the easiest job they've ever had in their lives. But it is by far the most boring job they have ever had in their lives, because if you leave your 4-foot cubicle where your area is on the floor, you will be fired immediately. Because all their little, I don't know what to really call them, the automated sections that come by each group for you to pull products from, like I said, they're all automated. So if you step onto the floor, you're going to get hit by one. And they're not going to stop. So they make
I'd be riding up and down on the automated things.
Matt, I can see you because we have like the floor scrubbers that you've always seen for years and years. You've seen the guys sitting on little floor scrubbers, driving around Walmarts and everything else, just cleaning the floors. Well, that doesn't exist anymore here. Those are all robotic, AI-controlled floor cleaning machines now.
Yeah.
But it's like everything else. You'll push governments to a point in the end that they'll turn around and say, right, such as like at the moment with the train drivers in this country, the amount of money that they earn and the amount of hours they work a week is obscene. But at the end of the day, if they keep pushing it and they'll keep pushing it, then the government that will be in power in that particular time will say, okay, we've had enough now. We're now going to automate all the trains, and all you're not going to be out on your rear roll.
The thing is, they could automate the trains.
Well, they can build. It's just that the unions are so opposed to it, and they do this and they do that, and everybody backs away. But in the end, it's the same. If you go back to where Thingy was in the past, our automotive industry, one of the biggest industries in the world, and what happened? Such a like Rover. I mean, you had blokes at Rover being paid £500 a week just to sweep the floor. That was it. Sweep the floor, £500 a week. Because every time they wanted more money, what did they do? They went on strike. They went on strike. They went on strike. In the end, they shot themselves in the foot, and they end up the company going under.
Yeah.
And it was one of the premier companies in the world. Plus, you had a lot of blokes there who were buying pay slips online from these companies, exaggerating the cost of their wages so they could garner more money to get a better mortgage for a bigger house. When they lost their jobs, what happened? They lost their houses.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad worked for Rover back in the day when the Mini was being built, and it was easy. If one of them wanted to go off for a fag break or something like that, just throw a spanner into the track. As soon as the track stopped, everybody down tools while they went and found out where it was. So they're going to sit down, have a cup of tea, have a smoke, then get back to work. That's how it used to be. I mean, my dad was one of the first to have a Mini, and they brought it round on the track. And he says, one of the managers says, "Oh, there you are, Richard. There's your car." And he goes, "Oh, that's very nice." He goes, "Yeah, soon as he walked away, they just kept it on the track, went back round again, and it all got stripped down and rebuilt again with the better parts and the better interior and all that, and then dropped back onto him. And then a couple of days later, he says to his mate, he says, "I need some alloy wheels for it." He goes, "Oh, okay." Then he says, told him how much he was. He says, "Be ready for 6 o'clock in the morning." 6 o'clock in the morning, door knocks. The old man opens it, and his bloke says, "Are you Richard?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "Come on." Big, massive Lucas lorry outside, opens up, and there's 5 brand new tyres and wheels for the Mini. There you go.
There was more stuff went walkabouts.
He went all mad. My dad's mate, he had a Morris Marina. The gearbox went on it. He said he went to come see my dad at the road. He said, "I need a gearbox from Marina." He goes, "Oh, okay then." A couple of hours later, he says, "Be on the Bull's Head car park tonight at 8 o'clock." He goes, "Okay." Gets there, and there's a bloke with his car. Open the boot, and there's a brand new gearbox. There you go. Done. Get it away, not on your toes. Or if they knew somebody who always used to tip them off, that security on the gate for doing spot checks. And if they knew somebody got something in their pockets or something they shouldn't have, basically they just used to crowd round him. In the end, there's been that many crowded around him, they couldn't get to him, they'd just walk out the gate.
I was going to say, Leyland was the old joke, wasn't it? But Local walks out every night with a wheelbarrow. What you nicking? I know you've been nicking some. What you been nicking? Wheelbarrows.
Or the one bloke, the one day he used to go, the foreman used to go every Friday to collect the wages and dish them out to his blokes on the track. And the one day this bloke said he was busy, so one of his mates went and got it, got the tray with him, walked down the stairs, walked straight out with it.
Yeah.
Spent 18 months in prison, come out after 18 months, never got the money back, and the next thing you know, he opened a B&B down in Cornwall somewhere.
Yeah.
No wonder we ain't got a car industry left, is it?
Mm. Well, look
A
at
lot
that zoo. Look at that zoo that was somewhere else in the country where this bloke was there day in, day out for about 20 years. And people were paying him money for the parking. Didn't turn up one day, and they rung the council up and says, where's the car park bloke? Car park bloke? No, you provide your own car park
Oh
bloke.
no!
Yeah, and his bucket didn't even know who he was, didn't even know what his name was, and he must have made thousands, hundreds of thousands.
Oh, at least.
The thing
Yeah.
is, right?
I'm sorry, that's kind of
it's
genius,
wrong.
though. You got to give him that one.
Exactly. I know it's wrong. I know it's dodgy as fuck, but I've got to give that. I'll shake that bloke's hand.
Oh, yeah, of course you would, yeah. That's bold as brass, that is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
But it's like everything else. It's like also with the motor industry, it had to be restructured, remanaged, and people at Rover just didn't want it, and that's why it all went downhill.
No,
If you go on
David,
If you go on YouTube, there's an actual series of videos about the British car about the British car companies and how they rose to peak and then just completely bottomed out. And it
Yeah.
was all down to money.
just because you preferred your Vauxhall Viva in green, Dave.
Why you'd prefer a Vauxhall Viva, I don't know.
Hey, Dave went a long way with that car.
Yeah, he pushed most of it.
Well, the Vauxhall Viva used to have breath of wind in it, rust.
I think Dave pushed it too hard and the back wing fell off.
Hey, it could be worse, man. It could be a Jeep. The whole back end could have fell off.
Mm.
Oh, mate, we had some terrible cars back in the 70s
yeah.
and 80s.
70s
Hey,
and
I'm
80s.
still stuck on the whole. Does your Jeep have 4-wheel drive? Well, it did before I pulled the front drive shaft out.
Well, I saw an interesting video the other day about Suzuki. They have just brought out that Suzuki Jimny in a 4-door version, which has been released in the States. And it's a petrol, it's an engine-driven car, not an EV. And so far, they've had that many orders for it. They've closed the order books because they can't keep up. It's currently now a 3.5 year wait. They've pre-ordered 50,000 of them within three. Was it? It was for like 4 weeks.
Basically, the Americans have looked at it and gone, "Wow, it's a Jeep, but it's reliable."
Yeah.
Well, that's honestly, Matt, it's funny you say it. The same thing happened when the new era Broncos came out the last few years. Everybody was pre-ordering. They thought they were going to be the best thing in the world. I have never seen a smaller vehicle that was supposed to be an off-road like utility vehicle.
It's horrible,
things
isn't
are
it? It's ugly.
Oh, they're ugly as shit, but they're tiny. Like my minivan is bigger than these Broncos.
But the new Suzuki Jimny's tiny as well.
Yeah.
And now
It's
they've just
It might have four-wheel drive, but it is not an off-road car.
No.
but they've just brought out a four-door version of it, so it's slightly longer, slightly bigger, and people can't get enough of it.
And it's 100 times more reliable than a Jeep.
And
And
they've sold.
it could also be the fact that with it being petrol, it'll be a slightly smaller engine, so it'll probably be more economical than some of the rather especially thirsty vehicles in America with the price of the petrol there.
The thing with American vehicles is
Slightly more economical is economical with the truth. It'll be a lot more economical.
Yeah.
But Craig, you got to
Yes,
keep in mind. Me and Matt and Bill had this conversation the one day about cars over here and the gas quality we have. Most people that when you go to the pump, you're not buying premium fuel over here. You're just not. You're literally buying the cheapest grade you could possibly get. What did we looked it up and it was on average like 87?
Yeah, yours is
over here
87.
for the low end fuel.
Yeah,
Well,
yours
the
peaks
one
out at
with-
92.
Well, the one
And
we just saw, this bloke, was it that Jeff Boy's car? He was in Dubai, and petrol over there is 55p a litre.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
just
but they make
55
it.
a litre.
Yeah.
Like we're at about 315, 320 a gallon right now. People are still freaking out about it.
That's
Keep in
still
mind,
only, that's
a few
only
years
$1.
ago, we were at
That's
like
less than-
$6 a gallon.
I'd say that's less than $1 a litre, though.
Right. But you got to think people aren't looking at it that way here. They're looking at every little penny they can possibly save for any reason.
Yeah, but when you're looking at cars that do at best 27 to 30 miles to the gallon,
And that's on best.
yeah, you're going to want something that's capable of 50 or 60 to the gallon.
Yeah.
And
Right.
the Suzuki will be capable of it.
and doesn't
Yeah.
fall to bits.
Yeah.
When I went to Blackpool for Christmas, Carol filled up the car, and we got a 2015 Renault Scenic. And on the motorway with the chip computer, he was saying something like 70 to the gallon.
Well, it's like I
Yeah.
saw a video yesterday. A mechanic was talking, and for anything newer than I think he said about 2018, 2020, roughly, they're only saying you should have an oil change every 10,000 plus miles.
Yeah.
Because of the synthetics and everything else. But they're also having these engines that are dying in a quarter of the lifespan they should be.
Yeah,
So
because
this
cars
shop
are-
literally, this individual shop basically said for their customers, we're going from 10,000 to 5,000 across the board for any vehicle you bring in. Just try to keep your car from breaking down in the next 6 months.
Well, the biggest problem with that at the moment is having that problem with engines is Land Rover. If you go
Yeah.
onto the if you go on the Land Rover forum on Facebook, it's a worldwide one, and you listen to some of the people's stories. You wouldn't buy a Range Rover, you wouldn't buy Land Rover, full stop.
Especially their diesel V6s.
Yeah.
The cranks keep
Mm.
snapping.
Yeah, one bloke
shit.
in Australia brought one. He did less than 50,000 miles, and the engine blew up. They want $25,000 Australian dollars just to replace the engine, and the car's not even
Yeah.
not even 3 years old.
The other bad one with the car industry at the moment is it's becoming a big deal. Is those 3-cylinder 1.2 litre wet belt engines?
Yeah, from Ford.
It's not just Ford though, because it's Citroen, it's Renault, Vauxhall. There's about 8 different companies basically using the same engine.
Well, it's down to quality control, Bill, because Ford developed that engine, but Ford never actually developed that engine and make it. It was a company called Ricardo. It was down in Sussex, and Ricardo is a defence contractor because they make all the snapped Land Rovers for the army, and Ricardo's developed that 3-cylinder 1 litre engine, which has the power of a 1.6. They developed that, and instead of Ford doing their due diligence and making sure it was an actual quality product, just says, yeah, no problem, took it, add it away, and now you've had
Yeah.
all these problems.
Yep.
But you've got to do oil changes every 3,000 miles on them, or the
Yeah.
belts swell.
Yep.
It's basically money making money because at the end of the day, they don't care. They got a contract, built the engine, and so passed it off to them. And like Ford, they usually do, no quality control. I mean, Ricardo's, they also make all the engines for McLaren. Now, you don't see McLaren engines going kaput after a few thousand miles now because they do quality control and their due diligence. But when it comes to big companies, don't want to know. Just get it out there as quick as we can.
Well, exactly. And then you've got look how many recalls you have in the U.S. for all these vehicles. You
The
know,
worst thing
this it's spontaneously catching fire after 20,000 miles, but it's okay. Just bring it back. We'll fix it.
Well, this is
I'll
why
tell you
Nissan's in trouble. This is why Nissan's in trouble now. The amount of recalls they've had on their cars worldwide, they are in serious trouble. And who would have thought a company called Nissan would be in this much trouble? I mean, they're on
Well,
about now having
they're
to
shutting
partner
the one
with Honda and another company just to keep them going because they're on their arse.
Well, the one up in Newcastle.
Honda have pulled out of that.
So, you know, I mean, at one time, you looked at Honda cars and their K Series engine, they reckoned that their engines had a complete complete meltdown, one engine every million engines that they built, one catastrophic failure.
Yeah.
And now you've got companies like Nissan. I mean, Nissan, look at Nissan, how big they are. And they're absolutely not on their knees.
I tell you another company that's bad for engine reliability. VAG, Vauxhall Audi Group.
Yeah.
Their engines are shit. And I know that from a personal level because a good friend of mine who's got a YouTube channel, I want to give Rick a shout out at REP Tuning. He does Audis and VWs, tuning them. And he worked for Audi for years. And he's turned around and said the latest Audi engines are absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
And that's his words. He did a video on it the other day. They've come up with a new one for the crankshaft. You won't believe this. Anyone who understands engines, right? When you've got a crank turning in oil, yeah, it naturally creates a swirl in the oil and aerates the oil. Aerated oil is no good for going back around the system to circulate. So Audi came up with a good idea. We'll stick a bit of plastic under the crankshaft, bolted to the bearing caps for the crank, so it doesn't create aeration in the oil. Okay, that's a good idea. It's clever. Well, it would be if they put the right bolts in and they hadn't made the shield out of plastic.
Well, yeah.
So what happens on the Audi RS6s is it gets that hot, it makes the plastic brittle, it cracks, snaps bits off that shield.
Then you get chunks of that shield coming through your system.
Oil system, block the oil filter plate, seize the top end, and in turn seize the bottom end. So you destroyed a 28, well, I think they're 32 grand new for engine.
Yeah.
Serious fucking problem.
Jeez.
Their gearboxes for the Q7s were terrible.
Oh, shit,
a mate of mine brought an Audi Q7 from London. He looked at me and he said, yeah, when he brought it up to the house, I looked at him, I said, what you brought that for? And he goes, I says, well, have you checked it over properly? He goes, yeah. He had it 4 months, gearbox went, and he needed a new gearbox. Couldn't get a recon, couldn't get a repair. You had to have a brand new gearbox, and the gearbox for the 3 litre one is 9,000 quid.
Well, you know
Yeah.
why?
Yeah,
don't
and that's
you?
without the fitting.
You know how a DCT gearbox works?
Yeah.
How they work, and they shuffle the gears across. You've got a pre-selector in the gearbox, works across, push it across. Well, when Audi, if you look at the gearbox, what Audi did was they thinned down the selectors that fucking much that selector, rather than fitting round and moving along that shaft to move the next cog, it's that thin, it bows. It actually bows.
Oh
Rick
shit!
showed me in pictures. You can actually see where it's done that. The selector shaft actually bows on them. And they
Yeah,
reckon they can take 1,000 foot-pound of torque through them gearboxes. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, okay.
Mm.
So it's all cost cutting and trying to make as much profit with as least expenditure as possible. I mean, you buy a Mercedes A-Class, you buy the diesel version, and you think, you look at it, you look inside, it's all nicely appointed
Oh,
inside.
yeah,
And all that.
lovely.
And what have you got underneath the bonnet? A 1.5 DCI Renault engine.
Yeah.
For the money you pay for that car, you'd expect a Mercedes engine, not a Renault engine.
No.
In fact, they built the 1.5 DCI A-Class. Their diesel engine is exactly the same engine as in Carroll's Renault. The DCI one, the 1.5 DCI.
I liked Mercs when Mercedes were like the old Mercs.
Yeah.
That you get a lump hammer and you hit the wing and you snap the lump hammer.
Yeah.
That you didn't dent the wing. They were indestructible. They were like a tank.
Yeah.
The fucking steel was thicker on them. They were fucking properly heavy build.
I mean, you
quality.
saw.
Well, there's a key word though, Matt. It was steel. It's not all this composite plastic bullshit now.
A lot of cars now
Yeah.
are plastic panels. A lot of cars.
Well,
Yeah.
they found an old Mercedes in Africa. Then they'd done like 1 million miles, and it was still on,
Yeah.
on the original engine.
Yeah,
Well,
still be going.
My sister had an old Saturn years ago, and it had one of the real long nose front ends on it. Ended up getting into a bad accident. Literally 2 foot of the front of that car was fiberglass and foam.
Yeah.
Not like impact foam. I'm talking like styrofoam. Like the car exploded.
You look at Mercedes AMG cars, and you lift up the bonnet and you look at the engine. It'll say, "This engine was hand built by Fritz." Was it? Oh, right, okay, fair enough. Well, how many cars, AMG cars, are there on the road a year? You're talking in the tens of thousands. So you mean to tell me that every one of them is built by hand? I don't think so.
Yeah, but years ago, remember, Steve, AMG was a separate company.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was AMG, and if you wanted AMG on your Merc, you went to Mercedes, you bought your Merc, you then signed the release forms, and you had your car sent to AMG, which was, can't remember where in Germany it was, but you had it sent there. They did all the work on it, and then it was shipped to you.
Yeah.
Now,
The work was done
Mercedes have
properly
bought
too.
AMG.
The last,
AMG was Dusseldorf, wasn't it?
yeah, well, the last company that did that, still did that, was McLaren, didn't it? With the McLaren SLR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You brought your McLaren. Well, they brought a McLaren, took it to a McLaren, they stripped it down, rebuilt it, then sent it back to you.
All of the great like car, I suppose you'd say, tuners and livery people have gone. There's none of them left now.
No.
There's probably a few left in the world, but not many. Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
I think there's only one.
And you have over here, it's all hobbyist stuff now. You know, it's guys that have YouTube channels that are doing this stuff just to see what performance they can get out of these engines. It's not people modding things anymore to try to help the actual industry.
I mean, you think back, a great mark, Vanden Pla used to take cars off the Leyland line.
Mm-hmm.
They would check the cars thoroughly, take them away, strip them, rebuild them, put all the coach work in, put the new front end on, rebuild the suspension, everything. And you then bought a Vanden Pla separately.
You had Vanden
They were
Pla.
a separate company.
You had Cooper doing minis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
originally,
John Cooper.
You had Hollands and Birmingham. They were the ones who used to do all the stuff for the Rovers and all that. Hollands, but most of them didn't use them anyway because all the motor companies did was kick the cars out, and coach builders used to take the cars in and make them into the cars you see of the old ones like the Vandenpla and all that. It was all done out of house. Now then, so we'll buy them. And then see, trouble is though, when you buy them into the company, what do you start doing then? Cutting corners.
yeah.
Well,
You
you,
don't
had
wanna spend
companies
money.
like, you had Park Ward and people like that who did them all. You know, real
look at-
high-end companies.
I mean, if you want
Yeah,
if you want coach lines painted on your car now, I think there's only one bloke now in the country that does it, and he works for Rolls Royce. And he was
Yeah.
he was a sign writer, and then he got taken up by Rolls Royce to do coach lines on their car on some of their cars. And this bloke now just goes all the way around the world now doing different coach lines for people's cars, for customers' cars.
That's
And
the
it's-
bloke that does it freehand, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And does such a straight line. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one bloke. I mean,
Yeah, it's a
before
guy
you used to have a whole raft of them.
Oh yeah.
Do you think,
One
Think-
bloke.
thinking about it as well, do you think that's also due to the fact of because these companies were so old, they had such few orders anyway, and in the climate, they weren't able to continue doing what they had been doing. Plus, also, like the owners of the company would have been getting older, getting to retirement. No one would want to take the company on. The parent
Or at
company
least keep the same
or
quality.
the manufacturers would swallow them up. That sort of thing.
Well,
The manufacturers swallowed them up.
That's what
Yeah.
they used to do. That's what they used to do, Craig. See, all these specially limited edition built cars always went to another company to have the limited edition done to the car, you know, like a rebuilt engine or a rebuilt interior. But then what they used to do is they said, well, we don't really want to do that no more. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll buy the company out and bring him in-house. So bring him in-house, and then they start cutting corners. People get fed up.
Yep.
I mean, my dad, when he was a lorry driver, their company used to have the signage put on the lorries. It was always done by a bloke who's come do it by hand. Now you just go in there and it's a wrap, and they just wrap it onto the vehicle.
Yep.
you had to bring it up, didn't you, Lisa?
Oh God.
Lisa would like to know.
Yeah,
I will say this.
I haven't
will-
heard about this one.
Right. I will say this. I would like to go, like I said before the show, to see Sabbath as the original group again. Love to see that.
Yep.
And I would love to see some of the other people who are actually on that playing it.
Yeah.
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 Will I give my money to Sharon motherfucking Osbourne
no.
because she is using her husband's name? She is using Black Sabbath's name for one reason and one reason only. She knows Ozzy, God rest him, he's not going to be on this earth much longer. We all know
No.
that.
That's reality.
You're making money out of a man who isn't going to be here much longer. And when he goes, all she's going to do then is live off his name and continue doing it.
Well, that's just it, Matt. It's literally gonna be all the royalties and everything for the next until she's gone.
Disgusting.
You
The
know.
thing is, that's all Sharon's done though for the last 45 years.
Lee's just said it. It's her last big payday.
If you look at all the problems that they've had
technically,
over the
yes.
years, if you look at all the problems they've had over the years with Ozzy and Sabbath, it's all been down to Sharon.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
All of it.
They're gonna get a documentary out of it as well. Come
yeah.
on.
Yeah,
And-
and the double live album and DVDs and
Yeah.
Maybe.
But then also there's gonna be another series
I've
Life
got
after
it,
Ozzy.
Sharon. I've got it, Sharon. What you need to do, wait till Ozzy's on his deathbed, taking his last breath, and we can have that on pay-per-view. There you go. Ozzy live, dying. Because that's
Yeah.
about how twisted
where it's
it
going.
is. That it is sick. Leave
Yeah.
the man to live out the rest of his life in peace and quiet. Leave him.
Thing
It's
is,
no
Ozzy,
respect
Go on,
for her.
Go on, out.
Ozzy has always been terrified of Sharon.
Oh yeah, always.
Absolutely fucking terrified of her.
I mean, you can see that if you go back to the old US MTV days when they had the Osbourne show and they actually had cameras in their houses, and you saw a certain degree of their life. You could see that. Ozzy was
I'm going back a long way further than that, mate.
well, yeah.
Tyler's showing his age again.
Well, I remember the once.
I grew up on the Osbourne show watching them be jackasses.
Some
One
of
of
us remember.
I'm going back to when Ozzy was touring properly.
Well,
Some
yeah.
of us remember like the albums coming out.
Well, I
Yeah.
remember the one of the Ozfests. She got pissed off with a couple of the bands, and what her usual trick is get someone to keep turning the power off.
Yeah, she did it.
And the only problem was the one year she done it, and Sepultura was playing. Now I don't know if you know when Sepultura first started. Did you ever see their bodyguard?
Yes.
He was an ex-Brazilian Special Forces commando, and they reckon he had something like 40 kills to his name. He was a big, massive bloke, he was. And in the end, he got that fed up with it. He went and stood at the generator, and nobody bothered him.
Because
This bloke was an utter animal.
Sharon tried the same stunt when Van Halen and Ozzy toured.
Yep. She certainly has, Sharon. Has been a cunt to Iron Maiden.
Yeah, she did
At the
it
end
to
of the
Iron
day-
Maiden. She
at
did
the
it
end
to
of
Iron
the-
Maiden. She did it to Van Halen. She did it to Judas Priest.
I
At
mean,
the end of the day, it's down to business. If you're going to put on a gig and have all these major bands on, you're there to make money. So why would you jeopardise it? Because at the end of the day, you piss the fans up, they don't turn up.
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, like I remember, I was probably 8 or 9 years old, and Ozzy was obviously still touring and everything.
It was
And I
like
actually had tickets to go to Ozfest when I was 9 years old. Because of all the stigma behind Ozzy, my mom would not let me go.
So like that. When I was 9 years old, Ozzy was touring then as well.
Funnily enough, he was touring when I was 9 years old.
bless him.
Except he was with Sabbath then.
Well, yeah, I think though, when I was 9, that was one of his like ending Ozfests.
Yeah.
So for it to be one of his last big Ozfests and me literally not be able to go was heartbreaking. You know.
Oh, I'm going to be quiet. I'm not going to say a word.
When Dave was 9, Mark was just going out on the road.
I was going to say he saw Moses bring the tablets down, but
The day was 9, it was Mozart. You heading the gig on it.
No, Dave was there when they had 15 commandments and the guy dropped one. Oh shit, we got 10. We're good to go.
It was probably Dave carrying them.
I don't like these 5. Fuck these.
love you, Dave.
I have personal stake in these last 5. We're going to ignore those.
I resemble that fact, David.
But
Well, Vic's got a WhatsApp going.
Yeah, I just had a notification.
whoopee. I'm so. Oh, God.
I think
They
I'll
were
have to.
still,
I
They
think I
were
lasted
quite-
10 minutes. I think I lasted 10 minutes on Thursday.
I think Dave was prototyping the wheel. It was square at the time.
No,
No,
give him a
no,
little more
he got
credit.
it- he got
It
it
had
down
an 8 side to it. He was getting there.
No, he got it down so it only had 3 bumps when it went round. He made
was
the
a triangle.
triangular wheel.
Yeah.
But if you went fast enough, the ride seemed to smooth out.
It's no
But
wonder all
David-
his teeth. No
when
wonder
Dave
his
was
teeth
around-
fell out.
When Dave was around, they used to use tree trunks, didn't they? And pick him up and put him at the front of the block.
Are you sure about that?
Dave must have wanted a bit of abuse tonight. That's why he's come in.
Mm.
But no, I mean Sharon Osbourne, she's always been bad news. She took the worst of her father and got worse.
Yeah, because her old man was a scumbag and all, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Ooh.
total.
Yeah.
Well, it was
But
her old man. It was her old man that got Ozzy kicked out of Sabbath.
It happened to all of them, though, Bill, back in them days. I mean, look how much thing he got screwed over. You know, like Motorhead got screwed over.
Oh yeah.
Jimi Hendrix got screwed over.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes more money now he's dead than he was when he was alive.
Mm.
My opinion of Jimi Hendrix when Jimmy died, I think Jimmy was killed. And I think,
I think he was.
truth be told, not that you'll ever prove it, but I think Jimi Hendrix was killed by something to do with the American government.
I think it was something to do with his military career, Matt.
You think about it, he was probably at that time one of the most popular acts out there. He had a lot to say about a lot of things. And he was
And
black.
that's your issue, though. He was opinionated, and people don't like that shit.
And he was black.
And he was also a veteran as well.
And I hate to say this, I don't say all Americans, but there are a lot of Americans who are still very, very racist.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. There is
Yeah.
no argument about that.
No.
There are a lot of
No.
people. Now, I always hear the argument. That's how I was raised. That's that's what I grew up with. That
You
doesn't
can
mean you
change
can be
your
bigoted your entire
opinion.
You
life.
can change, yeah.
Right. There's never going to be a bigot and a racist your whole life just because your dad, grandfather, whatever was like that. You don't have to be like that. Fuck, I was raised fucking with the Amish mindset. That wasn't the most
Look how that turned out.
inclusive mindset. You know what I mean? But you learn after a few years of getting out of that, that's not a way to think about life. You shouldn't look at people that way.
Well, why do you think Jimi Hendrix moved from America over to here?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What?
Yeah. He
I
moved,
could-
he moved here, what, 66?
Yeah, I think so.
It was
He played
66.
he played at the Cavern Club in '67. I can try it if you want, Lise, but if I get like bunged in a black hole somewhere in America in a prison and vanish,
Well, with all the things he's claiming he's going to release over here, Matt, that should be on the docket.
Well, it should.
I agree, Dave. There is racism in every ethnicity.
That's
Yeah.
true. I'll give him that one.
I just
But-
think it does seem to be, at times, it seems to be more widespread from what I've seen in America. But like I said, I'm not saying all American. Oh yeah, all Americans are like racists and no, it's not all, but there
It's
does
like,
seem to be
like
an
any
issue.
country, Matt. You got a
Well-
percentage of people that think a certain way, and another group that realizes, we don't need to be the way we were 50, 60, 70 years ago.
Yeah.
And things are starting to change, but you've got those old heads that don't want to change the way they believe.
Go into an open forum site like Quora and look and see how many Americans are making racist statements. They can't understand that in this country we just have people.
Yeah.
Well, and that's Bill. That's what kills me about America. You've had for how many generations? We should be including people. We're all immigrants. That's why we all came here. We're just trying to have a better life. But you've got all these people that go, "Well, I'm native to this country. You're an immigrant. I shouldn't respect you." Blah blah blah. You're an immigrant too, you dumb fuck. It's just 150 fucking years ago.
Yeah, but most of the blacks have been there longer.
Oh God, yeah.
Mm.
And the native Indians have definitely been there longer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, but keep in mind, we're going to try and deport them too because they're not U.S. citizens, but they're Native Americans. They were here first. But we're going to deport them too to God knows where, because where are you going to send Native Americans to be their homeland besides America?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you look at what's going on now, they always tell you if you don't learn by your mistakes in history, then you're doomed to repeat them. And this is exactly what's happening all over the world. I mean, you're going about slavery in America and all that. Yeah, but what people don't realise was there was actually 3,000 free blacks in America that had slaves.
Yeah.
Has
The
Dave been
first man
I was
who
going
had
to
a
say, David's a
slave.
little children, right, isn't he?
The first man who had a slave in America, the first man who brought slaves in America was a black man. It wasn't a white man, it was a black man.
But you see how history looks at things differently. They want to see
Well,
it
not
in a
because
negative. I mean,
at
it
the end
is,
of the day,
it is a
history-
negative light no matter what ethnicity brought slaves in. I don't care
History-
who did it. It is still negative.
Everybody's
But-
been slaves. We were slaves, the Romans made us slaves.
Mm.
Yeah.
Does that mean we're going to get money from Italy because we were slaves? No, we won't.
That and Steve, that's one that gets me is you've got these people now that are of African descent in the U.S. that say I want reparations for everything that happened through slavery. Were you
It was
individually?
150 years ago.
I was just going to say that, Bill. Were you individually involved in that, or was somebody in your family, however long ago, involved in that, and they dealt with the struggle, and you're just trying to get monetary compensation for what happened to them?
I think Dave's been on the wacky backy because he's like, we're all children of the earth. He's going to be hugging trees in a minute.
But I mean, you look who sold the people into slavery. They
Yeah.
were all black.
They're on people.
They were their own people. It was a different tribe, so they got rid of that tribe so they could claim the land. They sold it to the slavers.
Yeah.
So the blacks, ultimately, it's the blacks who should be paying reparations to the blacks.
Well, you seen that film that come out a couple of years ago about a woman tribe in Africa. They made a film about it. They loaded it up until somebody pointed out that this tribe were one of the biggest slavers going.
Yeah.
But that got swept under the rug.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a person who knows what he's talking about black slavery back then. Is Thomas Sowell, who's who's supposed to be one of the most brilliantest economists in America, and he's written countless books, best-selling books, and he's a black man. And he absolutely rinses them when he's on television. Absolutely rinses them.
Yeah.
What and see that just shows right there. People that do their proper research and actually look at the actual events of history versus those who go, well, I'm offended on behalf of blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to say this and that and everything else.
Well, I've seen it myself, Tyler. I mean, you're talking about, but if you look at a lot of Black Lives Matter, if they go out and protest, actually, how many black people are there? No, they're all white people.
Oh, it's exactly what it is, Steve.
You had a woman there who was screaming at him, a black woman, saying, "Why are you coming out? Why aren't you protesting when black kills another black person? Why aren't you protesting about that? No, you only protest when it happens to a white person." every country in the world's got stain that got blood on their hands. We did down to slavery. Every country's got it.
Yeah. You know, I mean,
But
they
to
try
say
to
someone, but to say someone's slavery is worse than another person's slavery is a bit conducive of it all. At the end of the day, slavery is slavery, no matter what colour you was.
But you look back at the Celts. The Celts used to have slaves from
Yeah.
other tribes,
Mhm.
so we even had it within our own country, within
Mhm.
our own race.
Yep.
You know, Stonehenge wouldn't have been built without slaves. That's 5,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
If Stonehenge had been built by the Americans, mate, it would have been
Oh, it would have fallen down years ago.
it'd have been a lot smaller and made of polystyrene.
I was gonna say it'd be made of wood. Wood and aluminum.
No, there was a wooden version made before they built it in stone.
Believe
I
it
mean,
or
they've
not,
got-
there is actually a Stonehenge replica in America. There's a point this fat for you, Tyler.
That
Oh,
I
no,
I
no,
honestly didn't know that one.
don't start on the no, don't.
What, the one that got kicked over by the dwarfs?
God's sake, you had to, didn't you? You fucking dickhead.
Spinal Tap for the win.
Hmm.
I've watched that for at least a month.
Yeah.
It's about 6 months since I watched it last. I need to watch it again.
So many. funny
Although
little bits.
I did watch the English alternative, Bad News tour.
Bad news, yeah.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. What got me was people were taking it seriously when they played Donington. They were trying to take it seriously, and it was Ed Edmondson, Rick Mail, and I've forgotten who the other two were, but they were just dicking about.
Yeah, I remember Ed Edmondson got smacked in the face with a piss bottle.
Yeah. Best of it is, if you listen to what they played, they were actually not a bad band.
Yeah.
Spinal Tap actually went out on tour, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was quite funny, that was. Of Rita, Sue, and Bob too.
Oh, God.
Sponsored by British Leyland. A V8 Rover Vitesse, a Mini Metro. What else was in that? I can remember the bikes. There was a TS50, an RD50, an RD250LC, a DT125.
No, I thought it was just an RD250. I didn't think it was the LC.
It might have been just a 250. Done in yeah. That was great.
Sort of thing the other day, a Centurion.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. I thought, mate, you got some money, mate.
Yeah.
Because they ain't cheap.
Yeah. There's been very few.
Everybody's still loving our government.
Yeah, great.
Mm.
Steve, I don't even deal with your government. I hate your government.
Wise move. It's okay. We hit
Right.
your people in.
I mean, I was
Fair-
considering
fair
I was
game.
considering the transition, and then I realized that's probably not even any better. So, you know,
Which is when your West Midlands Patient Transport Service can't transfer their patients around.
Well, exactly. That
Right.
still flabbergasts me that they can't even.
Mm.
Why have the service at all to where you have the where hey, if I need a ride, I can get it. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have funding. You're screwed.
Mm.
So I'm gonna go tomorrow at 2:00. So that means Carol's gonna have to come out of work early to take me down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you-
like you said before, Steve, if it was certain appointments where she could request off time for work and it wouldn't be that big a deal. But you've got too many appointments for her just to take off every time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got the doctor's told me dressing change on Tuesday, but that's like a late one, about 5:45. So I got out of work on time, picked me up, and took me down there. And then I got me operation on the 28th, which she'll take me anyway because she said it'll be the day after that. But
Yeah.
any rehab stuff for my leg and all that, I use patient transport. But obviously now I can't.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. If any week there isn't a show and I'm not about, it will be because that me and Lee have ended up being arrested and put in a prison somewhere.
But for
there's-
hurty words, Matt.
Well, Lee and I
I'm
are
still
currently.
waiting for this new release.
I'm doing some lyrics for Lee, and we're sort of doing something between us. A song about the current government. I won't spoil it, but
I'm sure you added too many letters to current.
I'm
You
trying
didn't
to
need
keep
the R, the R, and the E.
I'm trying to keep the show clean tonight. I agree. You're totally right, Bill. I did add too many letters. But I can see it ending up banged up somewhere for this one. It's unbelievable.
If we see you on top of the roof at Strange Race, chucking slates, Matt, we know what happened.
probably slip and fall off now in my luck.
I said we knew this government was going to get in, and we knew they were going to be a waste of fucking space.
What annoyed me about it is anybody is entitled to vote for who they want to vote for. That's fine. I don't care. You vote for what you believe in. That's okay. But we could all see beforehand, everybody could see what was going to happen. If you had a bit of common sense, you could see where this was going and how bad it was going to be.
Yeah.
And there were idiots out there who went and voted for him. And then after it, I sat there bitching like on Facebook going, oh, I can't believe he's done this. And
You get exactly what you vote for.
You just.
I'll put it this way. I did vote, and no, I didn't vote for this government.
Did you vote for reform?
No. No, I definitely didn't vote for them buggers.
I know. I mean, I know who you voted for, obviously, but
The Monster Raving Unity Party.
if they were still about, mate, I'd have voted for it.
Yeah, me too.
Screaming Lord Such.
Oh, yeah.
Bless him. I liked him. And he made more sense than the current government.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he made more sense than the last government as well.
Totally agree,
That's
Dave.
true, Dave.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
What was one of his manifestos? Screaming all sorts. Was it like Christmas Day would be every day?
I have got a subject that is likely to trigger everybody. I was watching something earlier. Lee knows who I'm on about, Neil Samworth. And he does a channel on, he's an ex-prison screw, but he's a sound bloke.
He's a good bloke, is Samo.
talks a lot of sense. Now, I don't know if you've seen his latest video, but his latest video is on the fact of how the current government is giving probation and allowing certain types of prisoner out of prison. And one of those people that the current government are considering releasing is Paul Gadd, Gary Glitter.
Yeah.
Again,
Yes. They reckon he is going to be released. Now, we all know more.
I'll give him 6 days.
Oh, no, he's going to have protection. So we're going to have to pay for him being out. Now,
Fuck
I've sorted it out, and I sent Neil a message saying this, and he pissed himself laughing. This is my fine. We'll give him probation. We'll allow him to come out of prison. That's fine. You can be free. You can go anywhere you want in the country. Do anything you want. But so can the people of the country to you.
Yeah.
Because if any man should be taken out, put against a wall, and finished, gotten rid of, it's him.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't learned by his mistakes, the vile things that man has done.
Was it the last time he got parole? He was out for like 7 days.
7
Yeah.
days. 7 days, and he was back on his phone or something, and with more images, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He hasn't learned. He never will.
I was going to say, and before that, when he was released from the Thai prison, 3 days.
Exactly, Dave. Yeah, nobody wants to be in his gang anymore.
Didn't want to in the first place.
No.
People like that, there is only one cure. Only one cure.
Yeah. The rope.
Yeah.
And I could quite
A
happily
couple of concrete wellies.
well, that too, yeah. That's
Yeah, feed the fish.
just get rid of him. Get him gone. Get him off this planet. That's one less. But how a government can look at somebody like that and say, yeah. Well, we should let him out of prison, shouldn't we? Yeah. Because he's a reformed character now.
Bollocks.
Are you really that deluded?
The capital punishment should be run like a lottery is. You buy your ticket each week, and whoever wins gets to pull the lever.
Hey, I like that. That's a good one, Steve.
And then the money that you raise, the money that you raise from the sales of the lottery tickets, then goes to the victims' families.
Dave's gone very Japanese. Death by 1,000 cuts. Oh, now that is that's a way of killing somebody that is, and that was used up until the early turn of the century. I think it was. They got rid of that, but that was still allowed. Everybody in the village would get one cut at somebody. That's a long, painful way.
I'd be buying people's cuts.
Well, blood eagle, yeah. And what are you? Did you know you lot are a bunch of barbarians? I tell you, fucking hell. Any of them,
I could agree with Blood Eagle.
so long as at the end of it all, he's not on this planet anymore, damaging children. That's all that matters in my eyes.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes it so horrendous. And as for Starmer, the more I think about it, like I've said it before, and I'm being careful, but it's amazing how Starmer seems to side with these type of people. I'm not saying he is one of them, but he seems to sympathise with them rather a lot. It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
what was the term they tried to bring in for them?
Male attracted person.
Young attracted person.
Minor attracted person.
Mine, that was it.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Map. Minor attracted person. Now, if you actually think about that, minor attracted person, that is saying that it is okay to be sexually attracted to a young child.
Like it's normalizing it.
Well, exactly. That's
Well, that's
the
what they
issue
wanna
right
do,
there.
isn't
They're trying to normalize the fact this fucked up situation is okay.
I'm sorry, that is not normal. It will never
No, it's
be
not.
normal in my head.
No.
Well, there was a Labour lobbying group some years ago was trying to push for the legal age to be dropped down to 10. And that was an actual lobbying group. That
Was it led by Keir Starmer?
went round lobbying Parliament to try and get the legal age dropped down to 10.
It's sick. It is.
Oh, it is.
No, you didn't start until I was messing with my ear.
But if you go back in history, Matt, such a like you've got the Mayans and the Aztecs and all about sacrificing virgins and stuff like that. It was just another word to say sacrificing children.
Yeah.
That's all it was. They romanticize it, saying, "Oh, they sacrificed 1,000 virgins." Yeah, sacrificed 1,000 children.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is full of them.
But then again, how could a right-minded person, such as people like us, ever want to go into a place like Parliament? Because I'd be arrested the same day.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't be allowed to say what our views are.
I'd last about 3 words in my opening speech.
Because you have to agree. You have to agree with the boss, don't you? Keir Starmer or whoever it is. Well, sorry, I can't agree with somebody like him.
Well, at the end of the day, Matt, the way I see it is, if you run to be an MP, if your constituency has voted you to be their MP, you go to Parliament and they bring in a bill that, and then your constituents say to you, saying, "We don't agree with this," you vote no. That's it, done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You stand up and say that what I think doesn't matter. My constituents who voted me in have told me that they don't want this to vote no for this bill, so I'm voting no. At the end of the day, those are the ones who got you in power. Those are the ones who pay your wages. Not saying, "Oh, well, I've got to toe the party line," because then what's the point in having an MP? You just might as well pick who you want and just stick them in.
I'm saying if you're going to do that, you may as well bring in proportional representation.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not far off.
No.
To be honest, I would rather have proportional representation, and you know what the lists are beforehand.
Well, I know people keep moaning about the Labour Party, but at the end of the day, it's not down to Labour, it's the whole parliamentary system that needs to be reformed.
Yeah,
it does.
Because all you're doing, as Thingy says, I mean, I don't think much of the bloke, because sometimes he's got some good points, sometimes he's a raving nutter. But George Galloway, there's 2 cheeks to the same backside. So it don't matter who you vote for, it's the same old crap.
Yeah.
Same as in America, same any political system in the world. Don't matter who you vote for, all you're doing is getting the same old dross all the while.
And that's what kills me, Steve. Like over here, people go, "Well, you have this option." When the presidency comes up every 4 years, who are you going to side with? Both options are shit. It doesn't matter which one you side with. You're going to be in, some level of screwed over the next 4 years.
I was going to say,
I remember I watched the program the ones. I listened to Roger Stone. You know that, do you?
Yeah.
Roger Stone. You know who he is, do you, Tyler?
Who is it?
Roger Stone.
No, I haven't heard that one.
Roger Stone was a political aide. He was an aide for Carter, Reagan, Bush, and he got swatted loads of times by the FBI because he's a Trump supporter. But he said that one day, he says, when Carter was voted into power, his first ever day, because Carter got some quite radical policies he wanted to bring in and stuff like that. So it's the first day in the Oval Office, the CIA walk in, and they hand him this file, and they says, there you go, look at that. And it was Kennedy's assassination. He says, you don't toe the line, this what happens. They took the file and went away. And Roger Stone said he just sat there and cried his eyes up because he knew he'd been got.
Yeah.
Nothing happens in anywhere in the world unless the people with the money say so it's going to happen.
Well, exactly.
Yep.
I mean, look at when Hillary Clinton was first going to run for president against Barack Obama. They get spotted at the Bilderberg meeting in Davos, and somebody spotted the both of them there. They come back out, and next thing you know, Barack Obama's running for president and not Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
Mhm.
Margaret Thatcher was the one. She went to Davos the once, sat there, looked at them. They was there saying what they was going to do this and what they're going to do that. She basically turned around, told them to go and fuck themselves because I'm not doing that. Walked out the meeting, went back to England, and within 6 weeks she was out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the scary bit, Lee.
I mean, love him or hate him, or Boris Johnson, but you read that the Dean Doris, she said from day one when he was voted in as Prime Minister, from day one they was trying to get him out within day one.
Oh, yeah.
And taking over the country. As they want him. And they do have
Communist.
water, but nothing moves unless the money people have got their hands on it.
Well, like, I mean, I understand it's just the internet being the internet, and you have the memes and everything else, but for them to literally have thousands of memes within 2 days of Trump's, inauguration, but it's not President Trump, it's all President Musk.
Yeah,
that right there shows you how the money is really controlling what's happening.
Yeah, but even Elon Musk is nobody, Tyler, compared to some of the people who move around the shadows. Even Elon Musk is a nothing compared.
He's a face man for everything. He's one of the guys in the public eye.
The people you want to worry about are the people you don't know about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They exist. There's people out there that you wouldn't even know they are. But they hold positions of power.
But those are the people who make the decisions that affect everything else.
Yeah.
If you want to look at one of the most powerfulest dynasties in the world, and that's the Rothschilds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of people going about them, or they do that, but you don't really realise just how they made their money in the first place. And basically, how the Rothschilds came into power was the Battle of Waterloo.
Yeah.
Because the Rothschilds let it out after the Battle of Waterloo. The Rothschilds let it out to the press that Napoleon had defeated Wellington, and the stock market collapsed. And when the stock market collapsed, the Rothschilds moved in and brought all the shares. And then when the messenger came back from Waterloo saying that Wellington had defeated Napoleon, stock market went straight to the roof, and there's your money. I mean, they're talking some of the most oldest money are going as a political dynasty. I mean, in 1948, when Israel came into force, who built everything in Israel? That was the Rothschilds. That's why David Icke calls it the Rothschild Zionism, because Baron Rothschild basically spread all the money out, building all the buildings and everything for Israel. But yeah, that's how they made their money. They're one of the oldest money families in the world. But they just put themselves out. They're just a rich family. No, they're not. They hold power.
You can tell that behind the scenes because you never hear from the Rothschilds.
No,
Never hear anything.
and as Matt says, it's not the people who you see in front of the television; it's the people you don't see walking about.
Well, it's like a comment we made, both me and Matt made the other day on this post, and we said, look at the church. That's where the money is.
Mm.
The church holds more wealth in the UK, the US, across Europe than anybody else.
Yeah. The Vatican City.
Mm.
I mean, look at one of the richest empires that ever lived, and that was the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
So then, when it eventually collapsed, so where's all the money? A lot of people say that it's in the Vatican.
It is.
Oh yeah.
It's in the Vatican. The Vatican still owns vast swathes of land right across Europe and Africa
Yep.
and out as far as India.
The wealth of the Roman Empire. Then when it collapsed, it just all collapsed. But nobody ever said to say, "Well, where's all the wealth gone? Where's all the money gone?" Yeah, because it's held by the Vatican.
I'd love to get into their secret fucking room that they've got.
Oh God, blimey, Matt!
Oh,
Which one though, Matt?
Well, there's a few at the Vatican itself, under the
Mm.
Vatican.
I would
Not
love
that.
to get. I would love to get into their library.
That's because there are a couple of books, definitely a couple of books that are rumored to have existed that I want to have a look at.
Well, if you look at the Catholic Church, they reckon they hold at least another 12 books of the Bible that
Yeah,
have never been surfaced.
They also reckon that the Vatican City owns the greatest porn collection of anywhere in the world.
Well, if you're talking about the Roman Empire, then you're probably talking correct.
Mm.
You reckon the Pope nips down there like on an evening and like gets a book out?
probably.
Wouldn't surprise me. But does the actual Pope? Does the Pope actually know what he's down there?
Mm.
And then you've got to think about
Probably
there
not.
isn't just. Here's one for you. Bit of the tin hat's back on. There's not just the Pope. There is what's called the Black Pope. Have you ever heard of that? The Black
Yeah.
Pope.
Yes.
There's something for you to look into, Tyler.
say I've never heard of that.
But the cardinals in the Vatican City hold all the power.
Yep.
The Pope's just a figurehead.
Mm.
Well, especially when you look at the age a lot of these popes get to, when you're literally being pushed down by a wheelchair and you can't mentally really make any kind of decision, do anything else, but
I
you're
can.
still in active power.
Oh,
All
so
you've got to be able to do is that.
That's it. The funniest one I ever saw with that was when the Pope went to Ireland, and he
Oh,
was, and Ian Page, he was in there, and he got this big thing signed up saying Pope Antichrist.
yeah.
I thought that was, you know what I mean? Everybody's there looking at him. He's got this big sign up saying the Pope Antichrist. Not Pope is the Antichrist, but Pope is Antichrist.
Well, it's like whenever he arrived in a new country, he always knelt and kissed the ground. No, it wasn't because he was honouring the ground in that. It was like, thank fuck I'm still alive.
Yeah.
it was because he was pissed.
Yeah, got drunk on the communion wine.
It's the in-flight entertainment.
Yeah. And we won't even go back to the Catholic Church and young boys.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, oh dear. Yeah.
Not just the Catholics.
Exactly, mate. Exactly, Bill.
Look
But
how
the-
many.
the-
Look how many American church leaders have been brought down when it's come to light what they've been up to.
Oh, yeah.
Boys.
That's a long list.
the American super churches.
Yeah.
I have one right up the road. It is the size of like 2 Walmarts.
Yeah.
Why don't you just put on your like Facebook that you decided to become black metal? Go and burn it down.
That's it. And all these evangelists have been caught out, all been immortalised by Iron Maiden. Bit of holy smoke.
Yeah.
Create holy smoke, Tyler. Do us all a favour. Get rid of the bastards.
You know what? It kills you too when you see them on like Sundays, when they have their congregation meetings and you've got hundreds of cars in the parking lot. And you sort of think, these people don't get what they're even doing.
No. Well, no, actually, they do, Tyler. They're doing what the Catholics were doing years and years and hundreds of years ago. They go to church and they give their money to the church and they give their money over. And then the man up the front goes, "It's all right. It's all right. You are forgiven by God, my son. Go forth for the next week and do whatever you want.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
are forgiven."
I mean, I remember the exact same thing when I was a kid going to church. You had the offerings and everything, and then you got forgiven for anything you've done, da da da. It was never a question of what you do. It was never a question of how bad was what you did was. It was, oh, we're going to forgive you because you gave money to the church.
As long as you give money to the church,
Yeah.
you're fine.
Mm.
And that's very true, Lisa.
They should
Henry
bring back
VIII was after the money.
They should bring back a bit of variety, especially funerals. They should adopt the Dave Allen principle.
Yeah, I agree. I agree,
yeah.
Steve.
Totally agree, Steve.
Every dog fights for themselves.
The church, I'm afraid, is. If people want, I don't want people thinking I'm completely anti-religion. If somebody believes in a faith, and you want to believe in a faith, that's fine. That's cool. You're, do what you want, but go into it with your eyes open.
I was going to say, I mean, my mother is a devout Christian, but she's honest about it and she helps people. She's not selfish with her time, with whatever. She will help anybody who needs help.
Yep.
That is what Christianity, the only thing really that Christianity preaches.
Yeah.
If you go back to the original teachings, that's all it preached.
Yeah, it was. Well, the same as a church. The church was just a place to hold a meeting.
Well, no, the church was the people. It wasn't
Yeah.
even the place.
It didn't have to be a big flash building like America, the American evangelist seems to think, and other parts of the world as well, where it's got to be this super church, which is, in luxury building.
Right, and just to run that building, take everything else out of it, just to run the electricity for that building, what does that cost you? $250,000 a year, at least?
Oh, easy.
And
Yeah, but
but they don't pay taxes or anything, and they probably don't pay the electric bill either.
Right,
That's
so
not all-
you've got camera systems that are worth thousands and thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Someone
I
said
know,
to me the once about it, about God. He says, you got all these different religions, he says, and they all do this, they all do that. He says, you've only got to do 2 things in life. He says, if you want to be a Christian, he says, you love God and love your neighbour. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is just garnish.
Yeah.
Oh, badass.
I mean, I haven't been involved with the Christian churches for 35 years.
Come on.
I saw what I was on church council though, so I saw what was going on behind the scenes, which is why finally I turned my back on it completely, because what was happening and being said in those church councils was immoral.
Did they take your wimple off you?
But they were sat on hundreds and hundreds of thousands ago. Oh, you need the roof repairing. You've got to raise the money.
Yeah,
Mm.
that one. I
Sat in a
always loved
fucking
that
bank
one.
account.
I always loved that one. Oh, the church roof is fogged. Well, go and get the money out the bank and fix it then. Well, no, we'll
we
do
can't
it.
do that. Yeah, that was the final straw for me. Was I knew what was sat in the bank accounts for just the churches that in my little area, and it's like, and you can't do simple maintenance.
Yeah, exactly,
Right.
Bill. My dad's on my dad's side of the family, they're all buried in one graveyard up at Rowley Church. And I went up there a few years ago now. Went up and put some flowers on. I had to wade through the grass first, but the grass was like 6 foot high.
Yeah,
You couldn't even find the footpaths to get round to the graves because it was just overgrown. So I said to the vicar, I says, "What's this?" He says, "Oh, we don't have the money to keep the graveyard going." I says, "Really?" I says, "You're the Church of England. You're the richest, one of the richest corporations in the country, and you can't afford for someone to come a couple of times a week just to tend the grounds."
They've
Yeah.
got the money.
they've got the
They
money.
don't want to spend the bastard.
And I said to him, I said, "Well, I hope you, when you pass away, that they bury you here." He says, "Why is that?" "Because I'll come into your grave every day and I'll piss all over it."
It's
Because
hard to have any respect for those people.
No.
It's very hard to have any respect.
Yeah.
Really is. But like I said, if people have got faith and their own types of faith, whatever it may be, cool.
There, like I said, there are people who do believe and do try and live by what was originally taught.
of course I do, Bill. But you have people who actually like that, but the trouble is, they're overshadowed by everybody else.
It's that thing something I've said for years. I will respect anybody's belief so long as that belief is honestly held.
And it's not being pushed onto you because that's their personal views.
I've just discovered why I'm not religious. There is only one God, and I am here. Thank you, Sultan.
Fire and brimstone. I get it now.
That's why his lungs are gone. He's been vaping fire and brimstone.
With a touch of WS-23 for flavor.
Dave is
I found out what the WS in WS-23 stands for. I couldn't believe it. In razors in the 80s, they started putting that cooling gel on the razor. Yeah. Wilkinson Sword, Formula 23. That's what WS-23 stands for. And it was the cooling agent used on razors.
I'm going to put some WD-40 in mine instead.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Hey, Martin.
Hey, Martin.
WD-40 might help with your joints.
Yeah, well, Dave's first job was selling baits for the stoning jury.
No, it was just a sideline.
Dave used to babysit for Jesus. Exactly, Lisa. There is only one God, and he is Lemmy.
Indeed.
Do you reckon when Lemmy got, if there is a heaven, do you reckon when he got up there, he fucking booted God out of his chair? Fuck off.
I get the big chair.
I'll say, yeah, and all the harps have gone.
Mm.
Yeah, he's
Either
nicked
that
up
or they
the
probably
church.
thought, fuck it, I'm going downstairs, it's probably going to be more fun.
No,
I
and Lemmy,
guarantee.
probably.
Yeah, probably went downstairs and face planted the devil on time to get lost.
I guarantee I ain't going, if there's a heaven, I ain't going upstairs, I'm going downstairs. The cold affects my joints, so it'd be better down there.
But no, the well, the thing is, there's some debate anyway as to whether hell actually exists, because
Well, it was an
the way
invention.
it was an invention. The way humanity acts, this is hell.
Mm.
It was. I think. I mean, if you really read the Catholic Bibles, it was really invented by the Catholic religion for money.
Yeah.
To make people feel make people feel shit. If you
Well,
don't
right,
give
that,
us
that
money,
guilt behind them, they felt they had to do something.
exactly. If you don't give us money, you're going to end up in hell. And look, it's fire and brimstone, and you're going to get forked every day. As in forked, not as anyway.
As in fork handles. Yeah.
Fork handles.
If I'm going downstairs, I'm going to have to get myself an asbestos leg because the wooden ones will keep setting them for you.
Mm.
It's not turn up in hell. The devil's just going to be like, no, no, for fuck's sake.
Oh, fucking hell, you lot. Jesus.
Can't we send them somewhere else?
Well, especially you got to think, Steve gets down there, he's got his leg back. Oh, fuck, he's mobile now.
Yeah, but so's Matt. Oh, Matt. That's
It really all comes back to one thing. It comes back to like media, whether it's media as in we think of it now, or media as media of the church, media, it all comes back to the lies of people's writings.
Yeah.
Mm.
it was all a big publicity stunt for that.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's all greed.
Yeah.
Right. I know it's Sunday, but this is turning into a religious show.
I'll say, you remember how we were talking about side effects at the beginning of the show, and that just kind of
Side effects of reading the Bible. It's boring. The Bible is possibly the most boring book you will ever read. I've read the Bible. I've read the Quran.
Yes. I've also read the Torah.
The Torah. I read some of that, but not all of it.
The best book of the Bible is not even in the King James version.
No.
Book
King
of Enoch.
James. King
Book of
James
Enoch.
is a fucking lunatic anyway.
The old Book of Enoch.
Yeah.
Before this descends into songs of praise and Bill and I having a conversation.
I can see Harry Deacon behind you, Matt.
Oh God!
No,
You any good
it's not songs of praise. It's songs of despair.
at songs of despair? Yeah. Tyler, you know any hymns? You can sing us out.
no, not for a very, very long time.
Well,
Here's
that's
me.
true.
I was a good little choir boy.
Oh, I bet you were.
And I could run faster than the vicar.
That's the main thing, mate.
That's how he survived.
Mm-hmm. You only
Yeah,
have
but-
to run as faster than the child behind you.
Yeah.
This is what I learned very quickly.
Bill was the original Chariots of Fire.
Very true, David. Most of the modern religion is stolen from the pagan
Yeah,
teachings,
Right.
and paganism is a lot older. A lot older. Probably 12,000 years old.
That's how the oldest religion in the world is Hindu, isn't it?
No, paganism is actually older than that.
yeah,
Paganism is the end of it all. Paganism. Forget what everybody puts online about it. It's just believing in what is around you.
yeah,
It's believing in the sun, the moon, the earth, the water,
Right, the things you can actually physically.
things that you can see
Sure.
and things that you know provide for you as a person or your family or tribe. That's all
Yeah.
it is. Dave, yeah, well, yours is the oldest religion, is it, Dave? So you've just admitted you're over 12,000 years old. Yes, Lisa does now have horns.
yeah.
I saw her horns last night. And on that note, as it's 2 hours, 10 minutes nearly. Yeah, according to us, Dave, yeah. Right. Do your goodbyes then, guys, as it's 2 hours, 10 nearly.
Thanks for letting everybody let me come on tonight. I hope everybody's doing all right. And nice to see Dave in chat. Dave, I hope you're feeling good, mate. Miss you knocking about.
Go on then, one of you idiots.
I'll go on
All
then.
right.
I will. Nah, it's been a good show, and it's been strangely interesting, or interestingly strange. It was good to have you on, Steve. It's always nice to see you about.
Yeah.
It was also
Yeah.
nice to
Always.
have Dave in chat. And now we know his true age.
I'm 55 this year.
Yeah, but Dave's 12,000.
Mm.
At least.
Yeah.
Dave's new band, Dave 12,000. His prog rock project.
The group's there if you need us. Failing that, Steve's been posting some wonderful cars this week,
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
particularly the XJ13.
Yeah, you had to have a moment, didn't you?
Well, less said about Bill's little moment. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, come on, you've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
That is one gorgeous car.
Yes, it is.
That cigar tail looks nice as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But yeah, the group's there. If you need us, you can always get hold of one of us. And I hope everybody has a really good week. Over to you, Craig.
Yeah, all I can do is echo the same thing that Bill has said. Group's there if anyone needs us. Thank you, Steve, for joining us. Always a pleasure. Thank you to Dave for joining us. I hope you are not too bad. If not, sending you love and wishes. Thank you to everyone else in chat as well. We'll be back again next week for our usual rumblings and ramblings. And I shall hand that on to Tyler.
Thank you, Craig. Well, not much I can really say, guys. You know, we say the same, stuff every week to a certain degree. You guys know where we are if you need us.
Bye, Steve.
Bye, Steve. But yeah, if you guys need us, you know where we are. Personal Facebooks to the group, whatever it is. Everybody have a good one. Try to stay positive. We'll see you next week. Matt, say your goodbyes, bud.
Yeah, same for me. Steve's naffed off now, but thank you, Steve, for coming on. It's always a pleasure having Steve on because we always have a giggle.
Oh yeah.
I love having Steve on. He's always a laugh. It's always nice to see Dave. And Dave, 1 week, please, when you're feeling better, when you're feeling up to it, it'd be nice to if we can have you on. You know, have a bit of a catch up and just have a
Wouldn't
bit
have
of
to be
a
the full, wouldn't have to be the full show or anything, but whatever, you know, health wise you can handle, man.
yeah. You know, come
Yeah.
on for a bit. And if you feel up to it at some point, you know, because people do miss seeing you, and it's nice to see that you're still going, struggling but still going. Bless you. If anybody does need anything, yeah, hit one of us up. You know where it is.
There we go. Next week.
Yeah.
You're on, Dave. Yeah, we'll
Right.
sort that out,
That's
mate.
it, Dave.
We'll sort it out, buddy.
Deal, buddy.
Yeah. If anyone needs us, you know where we are. Give us one of us a shout. We're always about somewhere. We'll help where we can. Yeah, apart from that, I hope everybody has a good week. And we shall see you, no doubt, next week. By the sounds of it, with David.
Yeah.
That will be
Which
good.
will be nice. Look
Yeah.
forward to that. So
Yeah.
we will see you all later. Bye for now,
Good
guys.
night.